Welcome to another episode of the Bald Guys on the Bench podcast with your hosts Graham Cohen and Scott Wasco.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bald Guys on the Bench, a sports comedy podcast by the everyday fan for the everyday fan.
And like we always do, Scott, when rambling together about sports, it's time to grab one and crack one, brother. Let's go.
It is. Love it.
Ooh.
Sunday night edition.
Aren't they always Sunday night?
Sometimes.
Most
Not all the time.
Most of the time. So, Scott.
They are until football starts.
Facts. Well, We'll see about that. So, since it is Sunday, what'd you do this weekend? Did you have anything going on that I should know about?
Well, as we all know, Game 4 was last night, Stanley Cup Finals. And today was the final regular season game. We'll get into Stanley Cup here in a minute. Last regular season game for my son's football team. And, we started off hot this year, 2-0. Then, as we all know, we lost to my, I don't want to talk about it right now. It makes me sad. We lost to White Sunglasses, and then we lost last week to a team that we were way better than, but whatever. The boys weren't there. They're 12 years old. I have to keep reminding myself of that. So we go into this week, and we needed, because the tiebreakers are based off of point differential and points allowed. So we go into this week, and we had to blow the team out to have a chance to get in that situation for the tiebreakers, right? So the boys had a great warm-up before the game. Normally, when I send the boys out for the coin toss, I tell them if we win the toss, I want defense first so we get the ball to start the second half. Well, today I switched it up, and I said I want the ball, and I want to put the heat on them because my offense is, the offense, and we're good. So I was like, I want to put the heat on them. And, we won the toss, we got the ball, and like I was telling you earlier today, my son to the house ran first touchdown, first possession, had like a 40-yard run. Thanks for playing. We're up 7-0. Actually, no, sorry, we missed the extra point. 6-0. Next, but we intercept them. We get the ball back. We're in the huddle, and it's windy, right? And we're going against the wind in the first half. And I told the guys, I'm like, when we're going against the wind, we're going to do short passes and runs. And so we get an interception. First play after we get the interception, I literally, in the huddle, I tell Kellen, I'm like, run left and run right at that big dude. No chance he's going to pull your flag. No chance he can stay with you. Boom. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for my son. I'm like, let's go, right? I'm fired up. Yeah.
Let's go.
Get the conversion. We're up 13-0, like just like that. So, long story short, we got a pick 6. We were domination station, like I always say. We score a touchdown to go up 33-0, and the referee asked me, because you can go for 1 or go for 2. And I'm like, we always go for 1. And he goes, if you go for 2 and get it, the game's over. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, mercy rule. I'm like, we're still in the first half. There's still 5 minutes left in the first half. And he goes, rules. And I'm like, let's go for 2. So we get it. Referee blows the whistle. And I'm like, dude, it took me longer to get here than this game. Like, I don't want to, not go home right now. So my assistant coach and I talked, and we went over and talked to the other coaches, and I was like, y'all want to just keep playing? And the referee's like, yeah, keep playing, but the final score, no matter what, is 35-0, no matter what happens. So we got the point differential, obviously added 35 to us, which is huge. And we didn't allow a point. So that was huge. So I'm literally, as we're recording this, if you see me looking at my phone, I'm like hitting refresh on the standings to see when they're going to finally post the scores for today and see if we made the playoffs. Hopefully it happens real time and I can see it, and it's good news for us. I don't think it's going to be. I think we're going to come up just a little bit short. But the best part of the whole game is, my son has been going to quarterback camps and this and that. And so we're up 35-0. It's halftime. I go, Kellen, do you want to play quarterback in the second half? He's like, yeah, he's fired up, right? More than I've ever seen him fired up, because normally he gets nervous because all the stress at quarterback, right? But he knows it doesn't matter. It's 35-0. We're winning.
Right.
So we line up, dude. We hold them 4-and-out. We line up. I'm like, we got the wind behind us. I'm like, Kellen, launch it. Let's show the world your arm. Launches it. First play from scrimmage. Thanks for playing. Touchdown
Let's
pass.
go.
And he was the smile on his face. He was so pumped, dude. You know,
Nice.
It was super cool. So yeah, we won 35-0. But not to keep talking about that. How was your weekend? What'd you do? I know you worked a little bit.
Nah, just a little bit of work. Last night I thought it was funny. You guys in the group text, me, you, and Mr. Well, do we call him by his name, or are we still calling him grammar police, or are we calling him leftover Larry, or
I think the listeners know all of the above, so it doesn't matter. Call him whatever you want to call him.
Andy, so in the group chat last night, you're like, Cohen, make sure you call us call us before 10 a.m. tomorrow if you can do it. And I was like, bro, I'm up. I'll be working. Oh, yeah, whatever. So I talked to you, even though I talked to you later again last night, you're like, no, we don't need to. But this morning I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I might hit up Kellen on Snapchat and just be like, hey, man, I need 2 tutties from you tonight. And I was like, do I want to jinx them? They had this, kind of rough game the previous week. And I was just like, you know what? I'll let it be to the powers above for what had happened.
Yeah.
And what had happened was he ran 2. And what? Did he throw 2 or 3?
Threw 2. He says 3. It was 2.
All right. Hey, 2 and 2 ain't bad.
One was called back for a false start.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
So, but
no, just work, and then watching some of these games, and by games I mean finals, whether it be NHL or NBA on TV, and since that's the case, we might as well get right into it. Scott, Stanley Cup Finals, what happened?
Oh man, I just got goosebumps when you said that. I'm just gonna say this. I saw last night on Twitter after the game, the Stanley Cup has its own Twitter, right? And it said, I will be in the building Tuesday night. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, we are really 1 win away. 1 win, dude. We got to win 1 game out of the next 3.
I know. It's amazing what all those bribes and money under the table and
Here we go. You sound like a dude I follow on Twitter that's whining about this.
Hey, no, let's bring that up, actually.
Let's do that in a minute.
Right.
Because all I have to say is, the final mic drop moment when this dude keeps speaking about this and that is, how about you guys score a power play goal? Because you haven't in the whole Stanley Cup Finals. Dude, right. And the craziest thing, and I read an article about it, the Knights during the regular season were so bad in the second period during the regular season. So bad. Yeah. Like awful. You know what they're outscoring opponents in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year in the second period? 30-10.
Oh.
And as you would say, is that any good?
You literally took the words right out of my mouth. Just say it.
I mean,
hey, for someone that doesn't even know hockey, between hearing that stat and also I keep hearing you say your guys' fourth line's been killing it, been scoring all the goals, or at least most of them. They
slowed down in the last 2 games, but I mean, that's why they're the fourth line. You can't depend on the fourth line to do what they were doing in game 1 and 2.
Hey, but that's my point. If you have your fourth line doing what they did, helps your chances.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
Exactly. 100%. Without a doubt. But, the game Thursday night, game 3, we obviously dominated them. Monday, I think we scored a touchdown and got the extra point. Game 3, I had literally just gotten off the plane to coming home from Minnesota, talk to you for a second. Game started, boom. We controlled that game for 35 minutes. They pull the goalie. They win early in overtime. It is what it is, right? It's hockey. I didn't think we were going to sweep them. Never in a million years. They're a good team over there. They're a good team.
Hey, they didn't beat Scrubs.
Right. No, they didn't. And the thing that in the back of my head that I keep telling myself is they were down 3-1 against Boston.
Oh.
And came back and won.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm just going to say
a little bit.
I'm just going to say this. I'm not jinxing it. I'm not making a call. I'm not saying anything. My boys, my original misfits, that's what they call the original guys from the Knights. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, they smell blood. They know the Cup is going to be in Vegas Tuesday night. There's a little added motivation there. If they keep playing disciplined hockey and don't fall into the Panthers' bullshit of cheap shots after the whistle blows and give them stupid penalties, we're going to be okay. We're the bigger team. We're the faster team. We're the better team. But the one thing that I've learned in my hockey fandom since the night started is the better team doesn't always win. You can dominate a period and give up a late goal. And it's like, hey, oh my God.
It's in all sports, brother. All sports.
Yeah. So all I know is the Fortress is going to be rocking.
Liddy.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, do they have standing room?
Yeah, they do. That place is going to be on fire.
Hey, let me ask you another question. Who has 2 thumbs and Tuesdays off? This guy.
I'm not worried about Tuesday. I'm worried about Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm just saying I could drive over and maybe hit up standing room and be in there live myself.
Do you not remember the tweet that I sent you last night? Cheapest ticket in the house for Game 5 is $1,100.
For standing room?
Plus fees.
They can stand on D's nuts.
I mean, honestly, if I was still in Southern California, I would think about driving just to hang out in the bars in front of T-Mobile, because that
1,000%.
That whole area of bars leading up to T-Mobile is going to be it's going to be incredible. Well, absolutely incredible.
Let me send the private jet out and, come on out. Come meet us.
God, did you win the lottery last night and I don't know about it?
The funds didn't transfer that quickly, bro.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can get a loan.
I can get a loan.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So, quick fact. Everybody, when the 2 teams won their conference titles and advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals, everybody was bitching about the matchup in the final. Oh, it's not a big market team. Yada, yada, yada. Well, I saw a stat yesterday and I told you about it. The ratings say otherwise. Best viewership since 2018. And something I got to throw at that is,
who played in 2018?
Well, we played 1 game and lost 4 in a row. But is it coincidence that the Vegas Golden Knights were in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2018?
Yes.
It is. Because Ovechkin won and everybody wanted Ovechkin to finally get his cup. I mean,
right.
No, I'll be 100%. Honest with that. But the story of the expansion team Knights going to the Stanley Cup Finals their first year, I mean, if they would have won, that would have been the greatest story in sports. Without a doubt.
No.
It would have been a top 10 moment in sports.
No, I'll give you a top 10. There was something else that happened in 18 that I think kind of beats that.
What was that?
Was that 18 or Tiger? Was that 19?
I think it was 19. When he won the Masters. Yeah, it was 19. Yeah. But,
all right. Missed it by
but anyhow.
I'm not trying to throw shade.
I know you're not. Your boy's fired up. We're 1 win away. I'm not as you would say, putting the horse in front of the cart. I'm just like, I already told my wife tonight, I'm like, she normally goes to bed at the end of the second period because the games come on at 8. I told her, I'm like, you cannot go to bed Tuesday night. I need somebody here in this house with me. And she was like, why? And I'm like, because I'm going to need moral support. And she's like, okay. And the real reason is,
oh my God,
I have got to get, if we win, I'm not, once again, not putting the horse in front of the cart. That's our motto, dude. Can we do a hashtag with that, horse in front of the cart, please? I mean,
let's do it.
I mean, thanks, grammar police. I mean, whatever. I want her videoing the end of your boy losing his mind. Videoing me. The world needs to see that because.
Well, all the other videos I have of you losing your mind are not ones I can play for the world. So let's
they're not
tread lightly.
Yeah,
with what you're asking Kristen for.
And everybody that knows hockey and that knows the Knights know that, Mark Stone's our captain, and everybody always says Mark Stone has the greatest goal celebration. He's so dramatic and fired up. What I keep telling Jerry is I cannot wait if we win the cup, either Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. If we win it, I cannot wait to see what he does when the commissioner hands him that cup, because he always hands it to the captain. When I see him, if I get to see him do it, your boy is going to be waterworks, because
that's what the kid wants to see.
Yeah, because not a lot of people know this. When Jerry and I we had planned a game to go to, and it was the day before was the trade deadline, and he got traded to the Knights. Jerry and I got to see his first game in Vegas. And the night we got there, the night before, every board in Vegas at hotels, at casinos, all had pictures of Stone. Welcome to Vegas. Welcome to Vegas. The guy is the captain. The guy we call AKA Lizard Stick because he gets every puck. I mean, to see his reaction is my number one goal. Yes, I want to win it as a fan, but I want to see him just lose his mind.
Well, I mean, in this series, we've already seen teams lose their mind. I can't believe you haven't even brought up what happened at the end of game 4.
Dude, I'm not talking about Matthew Tkachuk and his bullshit. I mean,
I'm talking about the whole squad. I'm talking about the stadium or rink, arena, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Throw in the beers, throw in the food, throw in.
Stay classy, Panthers fans. I mean, like my boy TP said last night, I can't believe somebody didn't throw a gosh darn live alligator on the ice. I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, it was bullshit. These teams hate each other right now. Tkachuk literally only played 15 minutes of the game because my boy Keegan Colasar laid the wood to him the other night, and he's still not right. Then laid the wood. But at the end of the game, when it was over and the little scruffle broke out, there's videos of Tkachuk like using his stick as a weapon against Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah,
dude, come on. I don't even want to get into it. It's hockey.
Everyone was going after everyone. It was all out, bro. Dude, there were people pulling the ref off the guy. I was like, damn.
I don't even want to go there because.
All right, that's fine. Well,
because to hoist the cup, dude, all that shit is forgotten. It's the greatest trophy. It's the greatest trophy in all of sports, dude.
When it's like 8 feet tall and has
that's because everybody's name gets
every
engraved
team.
on it.
Yeah, that's from
dude. To be a fan from before they even played a game, to be a fan the day after. I was talking to it about Tyler this morning. I literally bought a hat, dude, the day after they announced the logos. just to say I was a fan before the team ever played a game. And
All right.
then, as you know, my boy Tom Day, rest in peace. He got killed in the massacre in Vegas, the country music route, whatever they call it, massacre. And that made it even more special to me to be a Vegas Knight fan. Not that Tom liked the Knights, but Tom was there. He was actually a diehard Steelers fan.
Let's
That
go.
made it. That just made it more special to me. Obviously, the Knights doing what they did in year one, going all the way to Stanley Cup, made it a little easier to be a big fan of them. But, you know, my tears of joy if they win aren't just going to be because of that. They're going to be because I lost my boy. And that, like, threw me into the world of hockey.
100%.
You know, but
That plus
anyhow,
the fact I'm waiting for that tattoo is what I'm waiting for. Let's
that
go.
is, I've already been looking and thinking, and, you know.
And that being said, let's play a little game of Would You Rather. Would you rather? What is more meaningful to you? Would you rather edition?
Oh, I know where you're going.
If you seal the deal with your Knights on Tuesday, or 8 days later for Game 6, however the scheduling goes, that or
I knew you were
right
going
here,
there,
folks. If you can see that under the pseudo video screen, green screen, whatever. This is a Los Angeles, not San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers jersey. Herbert. If they won it this year, what would mean more to you?
I knew you were going there when you said that. The would you rather bullshit.
I mean, they're both great. They're both great. But this is a 6-year love between you and the Knights. Your Chargers has been a 20 plus, and especially after everything that they've done to you.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I've just got a little hole in my heart because of the Chargers.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know how to answer that question because anybody that knows me knows I was never a big hockey fan. And then because I didn't have a dog in the fight. Right. And then I grabbed a hold of the Knights and I ran with it and I started understanding the game. I learned the game. I love the players and I love everything about it. Like my dad still jokes me to this day, I can't believe you have a license plate that says Vegas Golden Knights. You know, never in my mind would I ever have thought that.
Yeah.
Tomato, dude. I mean, I don't know. What would I rather have? Don't know. Because.
Hey, both wouldn't be bad.
I mean, if I'm being greedy, yeah, exactly. I'll take the cup and I'll take the Lombardi trophy in the same year, you know, but you know.
I'm not greedy. Can I just get a Chargers home playoff game? One?
Right.
Please?
Yeah, you haven't had that yet. I got spoiled back in San Diego, but you know, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I'm living right now, and it's the season right now. I want the Knights.
No, I get it, 100%.
Number one, because I love all the haters that are like, "Oh, Vegas doesn't even know what hockey rules are." Oh, I'm sorry. Did you see the Florida Panthers that have been in existence for 30 years last night? Their fans booing, and they don't even know the gosh darn rules. Look at attendance. Look at attendance in Florida during the regular season when they were one Pittsburgh Penguins win against the Blackhawks in the last week of the season away from being eliminated from the playoffs. That didn't happen. There was like 12 people at the games. Granted, they made a historical run in the playoffs, but don't come at me about, you know, Vegas doesn't know hockey just because they're an expansion team. They're 6 years in and they're leading the league in attendance. That place is 18 and change every night. Yes, I know it's Vegas, but don't care. I'm sorry we don't have Brooks Koepka banging the drum. I'm sorry. we got Wayne Newton, baby, doing the fire up before. Yeah, what you got about that, Brooks Koepka? Wayne Newton, I mean, come on. Get out of here. Next topic. Let's go. I'm getting fired up, and this is not a hockey-only show. because we got a lot more topics to talk about. The next one is the NBA playoffs. It's over. Next topic. Golf. No, just kidding. Sorry. I just had to throw that in there because I knew you were going to die. But, I mean, am I wrong, though? Am I wrong? I mean...
Can I get an H to the E to the hell? No.
I mean, all I'm going to say is, Jokic, could you really not have gotten one more rebound Friday night? I had you over 13.5 and a seven leg same game parlay. I got a free $10 bet thanks to Grammar Police, and I won 6 of the 7. Jokic is sitting at 13 rebounds with like 6 or 7 minutes left, and I'm like, this is money in the bank for Frank. Nope, he finishes with 13. I'm like, dude, I am like seriously one rebound with 6 minutes left, and he can't get it. Whatever.
I mean, hey, just take the wind right out of my sails. That's, I mean, hit the nail on the head. Let's go. Put
the horse in front of the cart. Let's go.
What did I say before the start of this playoff series?
We both said it was going 5.
Yeah. All right, we did.
But I said, if you remember, I said if it goes 5, the only game that the Heat are going to win is going to be game 1 because they're coming off a 7-game series and they had momentum, and the Nuggets hadn't played in like 8 years. So
it was close. That was close. They won the game 2.
Yeah.
My point in bringing it up was this. At first they said sweep. Then I was like, you know what? It's Jimmy Butler. He's having that type of season.
Yeah.
I'll give him a game. Game 2 happened. They only won by what? Less than 6 or less than 5.
I think the Nuggets had a chance to tie it, to send it over.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was close.
Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah.
The Nuggets figured out what the Heat were going to do. That being said, after that game, I said, it's over after that. They go to Miami, spanked by 15 or 13. Let's go. How about game 4? Spanked. Same outcome. And as we're watching the game, it wasn't close the whole game. Like, It was like, all right, we'll get it close. We'll get it to 6 or 8. Nah, we'll get it back up to 15. Oh, it's 20.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back down to 8. Just how it was the whole game.
Andy, that was Graham, by the way, not me.
We're not doing this every week, all right? That being said, speaking of Andy, now that you bring him up, thank you for that. What did Andy say in our group text?
I knew if you didn't bring it up, dude, I was bringing it up.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on now.
If you did, I was like, I put it a little note, literally, right? What did he say? Hammer the Heat +3.
You got to follow the money. And then I said, I was like, you're retarded. They're getting blown out. That's not what the money says. I was like, okay.
I mean.
And then I said that after the game just to remind him. And he's like, well, I made up for it on my other bets. And I was like, congratulations, bro.
Speaking of other bets, do you remember the screenshots he sent last night of his bets?
Oh my God.
That as soon as he sent us the screenshots, what happened? He had the Knights -1.5 and William Karlsson to score a goal and a parlay. And then he had the Knights money line and something else. And as soon as he sends us the bets, oh, appreciate it. There you go. Florida scores. Graham's like, great timing on those screenshots. You know, you could have waited till after the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of jinxes, real quick before we get into some fun other news, because you know it is U.S. Open week. Like 15 miles from you. My boy Jerry. We became Knights fans the same day together. He texted me last night. I told you when I was talking to you.
Yes, tell this story.
If he was, and Jerry, I hope you listen to this episode, and if not, I'm going to just send it to you and screen record this little segment. We were winning. We scored the third goal last night to go up 3-0 in the second, and he sends a text in a group thread with Badger and I, and he goes, "That's it, series over. Knights hoisting the cup." And my exact response to him was, "Zip it." And he goes, "Start getting your plane tickets for the parade, Wah." And I'm like, "Jerry, do you not remember Game 7 against the Sharks and the no major penalty when we were up 3 goals with 7 minutes left? And they scored 4 in 5 minutes. And we had to score with 10 seconds left to send it to overtime, and we lost Game 7. I'm like, "Jerry, shut up." And he's like, "Dude, I can't see any kind of thing on the calendar when the parade is." And I'm like, "Jerry, you do realize I'm a Mets fan and a Chargers fan, and the heartbreak that I've suffered in my life. Shut up." And I told you last night, if you were sitting right beside me, and Jerry, I love you like a brother, I would have probably punched you. I mean,
Jimmy would have got knocked the bleed.
I mean, Jerry, I might block you Tuesday night, so I don't see any of your texts until it's over, and then we're going to FaceTime together and we're going to cry together if we win. But dude, it ain't over till the clock hits 0. Ever. And as a Chargers fan, 27-0 playoffs, I know this shit. You know, it is what it is. In fact, my wife even said tonight to Ava, we were domination station Kellen's game, and Ava's like, "Well, this one's over." And Kristen looks at her and goes, "Ava, we're Chargers fans. It ain't ever over." I mean, right?
Dude, I can't wait for 15 years down the road, Ava's husband's going to be a football fan, and she's just like, "Oh, man, all these tragedies." She's like, "Son, you don't know what tragedies are. I've been a Chargers fan my last
Right.
life."
Exactly. I mean, golly. But anyhow, golf, dude. There was some pretty big news that broke Tuesday.
You want to go with that first? All right.
Yeah, and I don't want to really go into this at depth because I'm thinking we might have a special show recorded this week about that because, we can go on and on and on.
I mean, I can
about it.
It's just it depends on how. I mean, we don't have to go in depth, but like I said, we'll give it 5-7 minutes. We'll see what happens.
It's
our stances haven't changed.
No,
based on what had happened. It's just to kind of let's talk it out. Let's figure it out how it's going to go, and just now at this point, figure out what are our opinions now of certain individuals based upon certain questions. Really,
and unless you've been living under a rock, you all know that the PGA Tour, DP, and Live basically merged. That news. That news broke on Tuesday. And the most bizarre thing about that, before we get into anything, the most bizarre thing about that to me is Greg Norman, who's basically been the face of the Live Tour since before it ever started. The PGA Tour players, the Live players, all learned about it at the same time as you and I. Well, I learned about it about 8 hours before you woke up. But they all learned about it on Twitter. And that's what's crazy to me. And it's a slap in the face to all parties. That's what I don't like. It's a slap in the face to, I'm just going to say, people that stayed loyal to the PGA Tour. And no matter what side of the battle you're on, if you're on pro Live, if you're on pro PGA Tour, everybody agrees with this, that Live was sinking. And they had about another year and a half. But ratings were terrible. It wasn't, I get why guys did it. I mean, you know that. I've said that on the podcast. But the PGA Tour basically threw Live a life jacket. I hate the fact that guys like master champion Hideki got offered $300 million. He stayed loyal to the PGA Tour. He wins, or he was leaving last week, and somebody took a picture of him standing in line for Spirit Airlines. The day after he won the Masters,
Doesn't look good.
He's standing in line in Atlanta with his green jacket on his shoulder, standing in line to fly home. But the real question is, what is going to happen to these guys that took the cash? Brooks, Cam Smith, DJ. How are they going to welcome them back in these events? I mean, we don't even have a schedule, right? We don't even know what's going to happen. It's all like, out there right now. Rory being the most vocal person. And I told you this the other night, and we said it off the record when we were just chatting about it. Like, Rory has been the most vocal person being pro PGA Tour since this whole thing happened. Obviously, because Tiger's, dealing with his Tiger things, injuries and stuff. But it's been really weird to me that, and I said this before the announcement, Rory hasn't said shit in weeks. And according to, what's his name? Jay Monahan, the PGA Tour commissioner, like, he's been in talks for 6 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. He's eaten crow, and rightfully deserved, but his main thing was, he said the PGA Tour couldn't afford the legal battles that were going on. And that's why they started to talk it out. Kristen's dad texted me Tuesday when I was out of town, and he's not a big golf guy. And he asked me, I don't know if I read this to you or not. And he said, what's your opinion? Is this good for golf?
Right.
And my response was, absolutely. I don't care what the tour's called, as long as we're getting to see the best players in the world play against each other again, and not having the battling and the this and the that and the this and the that bullshit. Yeah, it's good for golf again. That's as one person, like, everybody pointing fingers, it's the way our world works, right?
Right.
I just, as a PGA member and somebody that's dedicated my life to the game, I want to see week in and week out Brooks Koepka playing against Rory, against Ricky. I don't want to see shotgun starts where they play 3 rounds of golf in one event, and then you got the other half in the other event. I want to see them all together. However, just going to throw a little poke at Rory, the little leprechaun. I mean, the last 2 weeks, I mean, he would have been a lot better being on Live, because 3-round tournaments, he's pretty good in 3, but he ain't very good in the 4th. But anyhow, just saying. So as we continue to brush up on the Live merger with PGA Tour and DP, I've been talking the whole time we've been saying it, and everybody knows I've been pro PGA Tour, and I really don't care. I just want the guys to play together. Graham, what are your thoughts? Because we all know, not that you've been pro Live, but you've been trying to make the arguments for Live and why the guys did it. Not that I blame any person to take the money and run, especially the old guys.
Right. And it's, you're not wrong with what you're saying, but it's, and what I've said before in other episodes is this. It's not that I'm pro Live. I'm pro.
Get paid?
Well, I'm pro getting paid, but I'm pro having the opportunity to make the money. I don't want to even say it like that. I'm glad that they shuck up the tour in the sense that, look, the tour was a monopoly for the length that
Right.
it's been around, and you can affect change if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? So up until now or last year, Jay Monahan's like, oh, everything's been great, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's been people that have been more vocal than others that say, hey, this is good, but it could be better. It could be great, right? So hence what had happened, live, yada, yada, everything else. I get that. I've always said I wanted it to be better for the players. I wanted it to be better for the tour. And the thing is, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but when I was going to golf school, one of the reasons why I wanted to go is because I wanted to, work tournaments. I wanted to do tournaments on the PGA Tour. And it wasn't until me doing internships for some big name events like the World Golf Classic when I did at La Jolla the last year it was there back in 2000.
Lacosta.
Sorry, yeah, Lacosta, you're
Match
right.
play. The match play.
Yeah, the match play. And then even when I did the Charles Schwab Cup Championship for the senior tour, and I worked literally hands-on with the executives from the tour that do that to find out that the tour only has a handful of events that are officially theirs. Everything else that you see on TV, folks, that's that's coordinated with the tour, affiliation with. Everything that's run, all the events that you see is put on by the sponsors. And most people I don't think know that. And that being said, that doesn't surprise me when Jay Monahan says, "Can we really afford to do this?" Considering it's costing them the tour like $40 million a year in legal fees to keep doing this. I get it. Um, the PGA Tour's had a strangle on the players for a long time, and the thing is this: if you're in the top 50, yeah, it doesn't matter. But what it takes to get to the top 50, not to mention what I was saying, the whole point of even with the live. If you take players away, that gives other players the opportunity to rise up. If it gives more players a chance to rise up, that's great. If it gives more opportunities for players to make more money, that's great. Because here's the thing, folks. Everyone's like, oh, you're a professional athlete, you're a celebrity, you're making millions of dollars. That's awesome. Yeah. But the life of a golfer as a professional or any professional player, depending upon what sport they're playing, like it's time consuming. Time equals money, folks, and it depends on what you as an individual cherish in your life. Do you want to be that person that's going to grind it out all the time and put your family off to the side and say, I'm going to do this 50 weeks out of the year and not have a life because you're going tournament to tournament, doing the practice sessions and all that? Or do you want to take a little lump sum of money and have the opportunity to not play 40 events a year or 30 events a year? You can say, hey, I'm going to take this money. I'll play 15 events. I'll do what I need to do and I'll be happy. So from that aspect, I'm cool with it. We've always documented the only thing that really pissed me off the most was how the tour was putting a stranglehold on restricting the people that defected from playing in events, specifically all of the PGA Tour events, but more specifically the majors and what Jay Monahan's stranglehold on the RNA and the PGA of America
Well, real
for the
quick,
Ryder Cup.
the PGA Tour has nothing to do with the majors.
Well, no, but that's okay. Then why? I know they don't, but do you think if Jay wasn't, on his high horse and saying what he said, that the majors wouldn't have, or there's a reason
All right.
why certain players didn't play. Augusta, they have their own governing body. It is what it is.
Same with the PGA. PGA of America runs the PGA Championship. USGA runs the US Open, and the RNA runs the Open. And they've all allowed live tour players to play.
Yeah.
The only one that I questioned going into it was the PGA of America. Were they going to allow it? Because,
right.
we don't need to get into that. But they've all allowed them to play. The only thing that when we first talked about this on the first podcast that we brought up live, the thing that you and I were so animated about was myself being a golf professional that eats, breathes, sleeps golf. There's only certain events that get my blood boiling. Obviously, the majors. And
Fact.
number one, what? The every 2-year Ryder Cup.
The PGA Tour has to be saying to themselves, Who's watching the Byron Nelson anymore? Who's watching?
I'll say this to answer your question: a lot more people that were watching any live event.
Well,
I'm just going to say that. Numbers don't lie.
Availability, number one. Number two, okay, I can't argue any of that point, so I won't. All I'll say is this. Now that the dust is somewhat settling, did the PGA Tour get bamboozled? Because now it just kind of sounds like, with how everything is done, all right, Jay is now the CEO of the conglomerate, and now he's working hand in hand with the guy that's the governor of funding from Saudi. So is it just like them two now, and now he's in charge of how the money's being distributed, and now they're just getting more money? Because it basically came down to, we can't survive without taking money from you in some type of fashion. So let's just all shake hands now, and we'll just behind the curtains distribute the money how it wants to be distributed, because that's what it feels like now.
The best thing to me, I don't know how to answer your question. Did the PGA Tour get bamboozled? I think you, me, and the millions of other golf fans out there, no matter what side you sat on, I think we all got rewarded for the last 2 years of bullshit and the name calling and the drama. We're getting rewarded. And let's face it, I'm not getting paid. You're not getting paid. What do you care? What do I care? All I want to see is drama Sunday afternoon on the back nine, watching the best players in the world throw sucker punches at each other, making bombs.
Yeah.
You know,
Facts.
as a golf fan, that's all I want to see. I'm tired of the bullshit, because as a lifelong golf fan, like yourself, like me, and like the other millions I just talked about, we've never dealt with drama in the sport of golf, ever. There's never been a strike like in Major League Baseball. You know, there's never been holdouts. There's never been this. There's never been that. I just want to see the best players playing.
Bro, our biggest drama is Tiger Woods been too damn good. That's like,
right.
Let's be
that,
honest.
And, I mean, not only Tiger Woods being too good, but also, you know, getting phone numbers from Waffle House waitresses. I mean, that's been the biggest drama in our sport, right? Am I wrong?
No, you are not.
That's been the biggest drama in our sport. I mean, that, and you know, whatever. We got something even more.
Yeah. So
it's U.S. Open week, baby.
Yeah. Hey, it's U.S. Open week. We got to say this. We recording on Sunday. You know, big event, RBC. Rory was trying to defend. He almost did, but as Scott mentioned earlier, he kind of bye-bye in the fourth round. That being said, can we give it up for, let me scroll through these notes here so say his name correctly. Nick Taylor. Who? Exactly.
Dropping bombs.
I have no idea, but Nick Taylor drains a 72-foot eagle putt in a playoff hole to win it. And not only to win it, he's the first Canadian to win the Canadian Open since 1953. Let's go. Give it up.
I'm going to correct you real quick, because you wrote the notes and you got that wrong. This is our first smack yourself. Yeah, first smack yourself moment in weeks. Get it. Get it. Let's see it. First one live on YouTube. Let's go. That was weak, dude. I didn't even hear the smack. Do it again. Come on.
I can't believe I scrolled up and I didn't. I
scrolled
back with my mouse. Son of a.
Anyhow, not only that was pretty cool, but if our listeners haven't seen the video of Adam Hadwin, who's another Canadian, running out on the green trying to spray champagne at him during the celebration, and a security guy just straight spears him because he thought he was just a fan.
Oh, just spectator, dude, that was hilarious.
That was so good.
What a day! But, hey, props to Nick Taylor, bro. Shot.
Yeah, you were telling me that. I didn't realize it. You know, I didn't watch any of it because I've been working my butt off. But did he shoot like 3 or 4 over first round or second round or whatever?
Dude, first round shot like I wrote it down. I don't know, something like 80. Anyway, he was in 120th place after the
Yeah.
first day, scrambled, shot course record 63 on moving day to move up the leaderboard. Then he is. Oh, hey, by the way, he shot 64 today, I believe, or no, 65. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He goes, hold on, I'm pulling it up real quick just so we can see it. He goes 75 in round one, 67 round two. And like you just mentioned, 63, thanks for playing in round three, and 66 today.
I mean, is that any good?
So can you just shoot 74 on day one and there's no playoff? You know, I mean, once again, it's why we love sports, right? I mean, it's the greatest reality show there is. So, no, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I was gonna give a bad intro to it's the meat and potatoes. It's one of the best majors in golf, and it's in my backyard, 15 miles away. LA Country Club. Super excited. Hopefully, get to see our boy, Romano, and let us know. LA Country Club. Let's go, Scott.
Dude. So, like you just said, it's in your backyard, right? It's right there. LA Country Club, right smack dab in the middle. And the coolest thing about this venue to me is not only is it in your backyard, how many celebrities live in LA?
What kind of question is that?
Actresses, actors, athletes, this, that. You know who's not allowed to play and be a member of LA Country Club? Celebrities.
All of them?
All of them. I'll never forget reading an article talking about the most exclusive clubs in Los Angeles. And we're talking LA, we're talking Riv, Hillcrest, a bunch of different other clubs. But I'll never forget a quote, none other than from Mark Wahlberg, saying, I drive past this place every day and I can't play it. How awesome is that? How awesome is that? That this club's members are like, no, we don't want the drama. We don't want it. To the point where Hugh Hefner, wanted to join LA Country Club and they gave him the Heisman. So Hugh Hefner goes, you're not going to allow me to join. Well, guess what? I'm going to build my Playboy Mansion on the 14th tee box, and your members are going to have to deal with my parties and girls and monkeys and birds and the whole deal. Lionel Richie, dude, has a house on, I think it's the 7th hole. It's a par 3 on the front 9. I was like, that's a house? That looks like a hotel, dude. The first time I played it, I'm like, and they weren't allowed there. No chance.
I mean, they've never even played it?
Not allowed, bro.
What, members can't bring guests?
They can bring guests, but from what I was read and told, no celebrities allowed. The first time I ever played there, dude, I'll never forget it because I was anticipating the Playboy Mansion, right? I mean, everybody says the Playboy Mansion, you're on the 14th tee. It's literally 10 feet away from you, a 10-foot wall. I'm on the 14th tee and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am like 20 feet away from like probably 40 amazing chicks. And there's a 10-foot wall. I'm like, my fat ass, how far do you think I could get up this 10-foot wall? And I'm like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. That pipe dream was over. But the amazing thing to me was as I'm on the tee box, I'm literally getting ready to hit my tee shot. And this hole, it's 14, is going to play 690 yards. It's par 5 in the U.S. Open this year. As I'm getting ready to hit the tee shot, all I hear are the monkeys and birds from the Playboy Mansion. And I'm like, this is real. This is the closest I'm ever going to get.
I'm sorry. Did you say 695?
Yeah, 690, par 5. Thanks for playing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when these guys are bombing at, 340, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like I've told you, I've mentioned it a couple times in the podcast. I've played it 4 times. And it's one of the most excited times I've ever been for the U.S. Open because, number one, they've never played it. Number two, the USGA has asked LA Country Club and their members for the last 30 years, can we host the U.S. Open here? And the members are like, no, we don't want your shit here. I mean, that's pretty amazing to me.
Hey, I'll say this. I hope you never play there ever again.
That's rude.
No, it's not. Because if you never play there again, that means you're a celebrity. And if you're a celebrity, that means I'm a celebrity. And that means we made it, bro.
Let's go. If I had tequila, I'd take a shot. But I don't.
Setting you up to succeed here.
So, you know, I've played there, like I've mentioned a couple times now, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into the first time I played there. Like, I had no idea how amazing this place was.
Like, why is it amazing? Like, why is it so good?
Dude, why is it so good? That's a great question. I'm just going to say this, and this will explain it to you. The day before, I was talking to Joey Scovern's dad, Lou, Big Lou. And for our listeners, Joey Scovern was the longtime caddy for Ricky Fowler, now caddies for Tom Kim. Well, Big Lou is a PGA member like myself and kind of my mentor, a.k.a. kicked me in my ass to finish my PGA bookwork. And we were talking. I was telling him I was playing LA Country Club the next day, and he goes, Scott, when you get there, do me a favor. Go in the locker room and look for the picture and the quote from Jack Nicklaus standing on the first tee at LA Country Club. And I'm going, if Big Lou's telling me to do something, I'm going to do it. I wandered around the locker room and finally found it. And there was a picture of Jack standing on the first tee at LA Country Club. And his quote was, don't quote me exactly if any listeners ever been there, which I doubt. It says, if there was ever a natural disaster at a U.S. Open venue, LA Country Club could be ready to host it in 24 hours. Just let that sink in. Most clubs prepare for a U.S. Open. LA Country Club, like Oakmont could do the same. LA Country Club, with their conditions, could be ready to host the U.S. Open with 24 hours notice. And after I saw that, I dropped the ball on the putting green, and I had a 10-foot putt, and I hit my putt, and I had 15 feet coming back. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is about to happen here?
How'd you hit it backwards?
No, I hit it 15 feet past. The greens were so fast.
I got it. I was joking. It's amazing, Graham. I don't know how to answer your question. The world got to see it in 2017 when they hosted the Walker Cup. And how was it? Tell me about the tee box situation again. I thought that was the most. I thought that was the coolest part, to be honest. When you were talking to me about it,
certain holes, like number one, for instance, they don't have tee boxes on a couple. What? There's like I don't know how many. Everything's cut fairway height, tee box height, and they can literally take the tee boxes on number one, and it's a par 5. I think it's 590 yards is what it's going to play this week because I was looking at it. It could be a dogleg left one day. It could be a straight hole one day. It could be kind of a dogleg right. It kind of goes down to the left, but it's just a venue, dude, that the anticipation, and I know the players, a lot of the players have played it. You know, Romano played it a couple of years ago when he was in town for Riv. He actually used our boy Matty's clubs when he got to go play it, but because he didn't have his clubs when he was caddying at Riv. But the thing that makes it so amazing and special is we've never seen the world's best play it in an event. The golf fans who watched the Walker Cup in 2017. I did because I knew it was there. But the normal everyday fan has never seen this place. They've heard about it. They've seen it in the United States world rankings, right? LA Country Club North Course, because they have 36 holes there, has been, I think, number 20 forever. And nobody's seen it. We see pictures of Cypress Point, you know what I mean? It's just the history, the 15th hole, dude, it's a par 3. I don't know if I talked about it last week. When I played it the 4 times, it was about 125 yards, 130 yards. You know, it's a pitching wedge for me. It's a gap wedge for the guys on tour, but they can play it as short as 78 yards this year. And a guy was quoted in his practice round going, this hole could play 78 yards and you're going to watch tour players make doubles and triples.
Let's go.
The 17th hole at LA Country Club, and I was talking about this earlier to Billy, the 17th hole is probably the hardest hole I've ever played in my entire life. And before we got on air, because I knew we were going to get into this, I wanted to see how long the hole was going to be for the U.S. Open. Well, on the flyby on the USGA website, par 4, 520. Thanks for coming.
Bro, like I said, they bombing at 325 anyway.
Yeah, but not only do they have to bomb it, but they got to hit it straight.
Hey,
as we all know, the U.S. Open, you got to hit fairways.
Yeah, well, when these players are hitting 7 irons, 205, like, I mean,
don't care.
Say, hey, I get it. I'm excited. I'm trying to be there on Thursday. If everything works out, I think my ticket's coming. Like, I'm going to see our boys. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm not excited about this parking and driving there, but I might have to Uber. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of parking and driving, you know, where are these players staying? Not only that, but I mean, how stressful is it going to be for the players to get there with LA traffic? And then you throw in thousands and thousands of fans coming to the venue. Good luck.
I mean, look, depending upon how many of them played at Riviera recently, it's one of those, if you don't know, you should know based on what everyone else is saying. A lot of them get there early for practice, you know, for hitting balls before their tee time. I don't think it would be a huge problem, but I'll say this. Plan for an extra hour. That traffic ain't no joke.
And, you know, just because we brought this up, this is hilarious. The first time I went there, I'm literally a half a mile from the exit to get off. And I have 3 miles, it says on my GPS, to get to LA Country Club in the gates. And it says an hour and 5 minutes. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude, you're wrong. No, they were right.
Bro.
And like you just said, if you don't know, you're going to find out this week.
Dude, that's like saying, like, oh, we're going to the USC game. We're a half a mile away. GPS says we'll be there in an hour and 40 minutes. What?
Yeah.
Get out of the car. Take the Uber or walk. Like, sometimes using your legs are worth it. Just saying.
So, G, like we do every week for a major, we pick our favorites and our underdogs. What you got this week, dude? You hit the nail on you hit the nail on the head for the PGA, and you picked Koepka. What do you got this week at a venue we've never seen anybody play?
All right, so it's been an hour. We've been talking about it. Looking at our notes right now. I wrote down 2 names. Well, 3 names actually. 2 for the favorite, 1 for the underdog, and
yeah, I just noticed you had an or.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I don't know. I'm making a game time decision, and honestly, the more that I'm talking about the game time decision, even though what did we say last week? Is Scotty Scheffler any good? Comes out of nowhere, shoots 66, 65 or whatever he shot, and finishes in the top 5. He is the betting favorite at 7.5 to 1 right now. He was going to be my first choice, but the more I keep talking about it, and I mentioned to you before the start of the show, I might go 2 for 2. And you know what? I think I'm going to. I'm going 2 for 2. I'm taking Brooks Koepka yet again because when the man's on fire, the guy goes two championships in a season. So let's go.
Not
I'm
only
taking
that,
Brooks.
but he's the first player to win back-to-back U.S. Open since Curtis Strange when he did it, 3 or 4 years ago.
And haven't you been telling me if you want to win at LA Country Club, you got to hit it straight? I
He
mean,
hits it pretty straight.
he hits it pretty straight. So yeah, I know I said Scheffler on the books, but I'm taking Koepka again. Let's go 2 for 2. Long shot underdog. I'm going with our boys. They've been playing well consistently the last couple weeks, and I feel like it's getting time. And if it's gonna be time, let's do it around the hometown crowd, boys. Let's represent SoCal. I'm taking my boy. I'm sorry. I'm taking our boy. Let's go, Ricky Fowler, Ricky Romano, R squared.
Dude, if that happened, in the theme that we're talking about this week, and that is the Knights winning the Stanley Cup hopefully this week, your pick of Fowler winning the U.S. Open, let's just get right into Waterworks again.
Oh, bro,
Dude,
done.
I'd
I'm gonna
be
take Romano
balling.
right now. I'm
I'd
like,
be balling like a little schoolgirl that got her lunch stolen. I mean,
100%. Don't. Hey, I'm like, hey, I don't need the after party of that night. Just hit me
yeah,
up. Hit me up the next day.
yeah,
Let's get some tacos
yeah,
somewhere. Let's go.
yeah. I mean, you couldn't say it any better, dude. And I knew when I was typing the notes, I knew you were going to take Fowler. So obviously I did not. Just
Right.
because obviously anybody that listens to the show knows that's the guy I'm pulling for more than anybody.
Yes, but I will. To be fair, who you did pick as your underdog, folks, he's been calling this all week and even a little bit last week. So there's no slouch in his pick. I'll say that. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
My favorite, like you said, that we've been talking about, to win the U.S. Open, you got to drive it straight. Who's the greatest driver of the golf ball right now? Jon Rahm. I'm going Rahm. And I think Rahm's what? He's second. He's like 9-1. Yeah, 9-1. I'm going with Rahm. It's been kind of quiet lately, but he did put on the green jacket a couple months ago. So
Is that any good?
yeah, I mean, he's probably been too busy planning his champions dinner for the last couple months, and he forgot how to play golf. But I'm going Rahm. I was thinking about it. I love the fact that you took Koepka because it was either Koepka or Rahm for me.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those guys drive it straight. If Scotty Scheffler could figure out his putter, I mean, the guy misses so many close putts and then he still finishes. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, but when his putter was on, aka last year,
Yeah,
he did what he did in those 10 weeks.
Yeah. So my underdog, even though I talked about this other guy in a podcast months ago, when I bet on him, I bet on Max Homa back when he won, because most of his events that he's won have been in California. He's an LA guy. I'm not going to make him my underdog pick because he hasn't played in a while. He didn't play in the Memorial because his sister was getting married. But I did jump on him back then and bet on him when his odds were 44-1. But my underdog is somebody that has won the U.S. Open before and won at Marion. And that's in where? Do you know?
Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania, bro. Come on now.
Good job. Home of the greatest, we'll call them, AKA flags on the world, wicker baskets. They didn't have flags.
Oh,
they had
yeah.
baskets. Yeah.
Yeah, those wicker baskets are ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's none other than Justin Rose at 40-1. He's been trending in the right direction. He's been playing his ass off. I don't know. Another fun fact about Marion, our boy R squared played in his first U.S. Amateur at Marion. and missed the cut. Didn't make it match play, but just had to throw that out there for R squared. Justin Rose. I'm just excited to see the venue on TV. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. The tradition I love about the U.S. Open is it always finishes on Father's Day. And I love that, I love the fact that the winner is there, it's Father's Day. I don't know, dude. Until I had gone to the Masters that first year with you, the U.S. Open was always my favorite major because I loved the carnage. I loved when par is a great score. I love that. I don't want to watch some dude in Palm Springs, what they used to call the Bob Hope, shoot 47 under par. I want to watch like 3 or 4 under win, and bogeys are a good score.
I agree with you, but that's the one thing I do like about Augusta is that the course is tough, but they give you like 4 holes.
Chances.
And they give you 4 holes in the chances that say, hey, you want to take the risk, you can get the reward. That's the one thing I like about Augusta.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting to until I actually stepped foot on the property at Augusta. The US Open was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Until you get to Augusta, it just changed. They say it on TV, a tradition. Quote Jim Nantz. What does he say, Graham?
Hello, friends.
Besides that,
a tradition.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw this out there because we kind of mentioned it. This beating the bookie guy. When the Live Tour, when all this was announced, he's like boys with Brooks Koepka, and they're both Panthers fans, and they're bitter Betty right now. But when this whole Live Tour thing broke on Tuesday, he posted something talking shit about Jim Nantz.
Oh.
If you talk shit about Jim Nantz, you are now classified as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. They threw batteries at Santa Claus. Who talks shit about Jim Nantz? I mean, kick rocks beating the bookie. I don't know how you haven't blocked me on Twitter yet. That was my goal going in the Stanley Cup playoffs finals against your bullshit, throwing rats and water bottles on the ice. Kick rocks, dude. To quote Badger, I'm selling clues tonight, $5 a piece. I'll sell you 3 for $10 though, because you need a lot of clues. Like, talk shit about anyone in the world, but not Jim Nantz, dude. What's he ever done to you? Just beat it, bro. I mean, God. That was unplanned, but I just thought about it. Dude, shut up, dude.
Hey, I love it. You didn't give me the opportunity earlier to even bring it up. I was about to. You didn't bring up the beating the bookie hardly as much, and I was going to. You moved on to the next topic, and I was like, hey, bro, I wanted to ask you, are you about to get banned from Twitter for what's happening between your conversations between you and beating the bookie? But sounds like you answered those, so let's go.
I'm speechless right now. Talk all the shit you want about Brandel Chambly, because he definitely puts the horse in front of the cart and he talks out of his ass. But Jim Nantz, bro, I mean, come on, dude. That's like talking shit about Mickey Mouse. All Mickey Mouse wants to do is make people smile. And I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I'm speechless. Graham, send us out. Everybody enjoy your U.S. Open week.
Let's cut it, clip it, send it, paste it, whatever. Hey.
I'm tagging him on Instagram too, because I hope he listens to this. And I hope he finally blocks me like he's blocked Jerry from every social media platform there is. But anyhow, enjoy the U.S. Open, folks. If the Knights win Tuesday night, we might have an emergency 3-minute clip. Anyhow, I'm not putting the horse in front of the cart. Go Knights, go. Yeah. Graham, send us out.
That 3-minute clip is either going to be a sobbing, crying my eyes out, or it's going to be a yeah, we won. So I'm excited for either. That being said, love doing this with you, my brother. And as always, as the best homie always says, bye-bye.
And beating the bookie, this is for you. Good night, friends.